Okay, everybody please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, there's 5 of us here. Andy and Phil are not with us today. So, Adam, would you like to present your report, please?
Sure can.
Thank you.
We ended September with 177, so a little slower than last year, but still kept us busy. Between the transfers and 911s, we're still averaging about that 9 a day. Times are all right where I want to see them, so pretty happy month with that. You guys can read the rest of the numbers, not much else off. We're still pretty busy teaching classes. We've pretty much taken over all community classes with Clark County now as well. So any AHA classes, we're going into Clark, Vermillion, Douglas. We're kind of teaching all our CPR classes everywhere now, so we're staying pretty busy with that. We've got our community EMT classes started on the 25th with 10 students, so looking forward to that. We've still got our 2 high school classes with EMT and EMR. My quality metrics down at the bottom, there was only a couple cardiac arrests in the month of September. One of them didn't meet, so it throws the numbers down a little bit, but still working on getting some of that lined out. Some of those numbers are kind of hard to report. There's a lot of information that goes into that, so if one of your metrics is off, it kind of throws everything off. The back page is your normal destination. I actually just went down to Missouri yesterday. Our remount truck is done, so I've brought that back, got back last night. Spend the next probably the rest of the month getting ready to go back in service. Hopefully have that back in service come November 1. Got a lot to do between now and then, but I'm optimistic we can make it happen. They're telling me now if I've got another truck on order, that won't be done until the middle of 25, and they're telling me now if I order, which I'm gonna go ahead and order another one, because now they're telling me if I order now, probably looking at 27 before if I would order now before delivering. So, and the price has gone up substantially. Used to be able to get a truck for 200, now they're pushing 4. So they almost doubled the price, which is.
Are you reusing the shell or?
So this last one, we took the box off. They completely redid the electrical, the airlines, replaced a lot of the pieces of the interior. They sandblasted it, repainted it, and there's a new chassis underneath, so it looks like a brand new truck. So the cost of it is about half of buying new, and that'll get us through at least the next 5 years, if not a little longer. Questions, comments, concerns for me?
How many do you have?
So right now, having this one back puts us back at 5.
Okay.
Right now I've got 4 in service, like I said. This one will go up to, there's a graphics installer that we use up in Tilton. It'll go up there on the 23rd, 11th that week. It'll come back and I'll have to get it state inspected the following week. So like I said, I'm hopeful that we can have, once I have state inspection, I've got to make a trip to Springfield. There's a special DMV we have to use in Springfield, get all the paperwork done there. And once that's done, they can go back in service.
Do you still have one sitting out there by the church?
That is an old unit that's no longer in service. That got a lot of engine problems. So we do all our community classes out there. We just kind of use that as a training
I see.
truck.
That's why it's sitting out there.
Yeah, that truck is no longer in service.
Yeah, okay.
But I've got 4 ALS trucks currently in service. My staffing issues are ongoing. I'm still short 3 paramedics. So we've increased our pay scale substantially. I mean, paramedics get almost a $5 an hour pay increase. So they can make some pretty good money. It's just rural EMS is hard to staff. I mean, EMS in general is having a staffing crisis all over the country, but rural EMS is, it's an uphill battle, but we'll get there.
Anybody else? Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Scott, would you like to come up and join us here and
Sure.
do your thing?
Staff Officer in Benton County Neighborhood Watch. Police asked me to come and just kind of tell you what we had a meeting a couple weeks ago out at the lake. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of people there, but it was a lot of great conversation. Some of the folks, we asked them to give us some concerns of what we need to fix here and so forth. We asked them, what questions do they have, concerns, comments, things like that. Some of the things that did come up was the homelessness out at Black Hawk, and what can we do about that? Well, as a neighborhood watch, we can only watch. We really can't, so we contact the Sheriff's Department or the city police. But they're talking about one day resource center or resource officer for schools again. That was another big concern. I don't know that that's something the county can help with. Maybe a treatment center, probation officers, just things like that. We had a shooting there close to Wentz School, and folks were kind of curious what we could do as a neighborhood watch to help with that. And the biggest thing was to, keep an eye out and watch things and see you see something, say something. We handed out some more forms. The doorbell cameras. We've got a lot. Terry's not here to tell me how many's on that now, but several folks have put their cameras on the website so that the Sheriff's Department and the city can look at that if something does happen in their neighborhood. Facebook page is over 2,500 people now, which is unreal.
Active.
It's very active. A lot of people putting stuff on there. I just kind of wanted to update you on that. There is a couple of meetings. Chandra Gerberding at Hume is our go-to gal in Hume, and she's having a meeting up there October 16th at 7 o'clock at the Hume Center there at uptown where they do the city council. So that's where theirs is at. We're also having one here, November 2nd, and that's why I'm kind of here to get you guys to try to come to that here in town. It's at Wentz School. It'll be at 6:30 on November the 2nd. Reason for that is kind of the same thing we just talked about, but Terry and Jeff were not at our meeting, and some folks have been asking about the flock cameras and how they're working and why we have them and this and that. So I know of one arrest that we had here in town with them, which is wonderful. And I know, Officer Smith has said he's very pleased with what we have. They are up all over the county. If you hadn't seen them driven around, they're out there. So we're just kind of a little update on that too. And then there's an active shooter, or not an active shooter, it's a trafficking on December 1st. And Doug Cochran's going to explain a little bit what's going to happen December 1st on November 2nd. So we'd just like you guys to come if you can. If you can't, then that's okay. But we want you to make you aware of what we're doing and moving forward.
Where's the meeting at?
It's at Wentz School. Wentz School in the cafeteria.
And I will say from county board, I did go to one at Twin Lakes, and my role there, besides being a listener, was they were wanting to understand the interaction, who's responsible for what. So I did more talk about funding than I did anything, and explaining county board's role in all of this is to provide financial support
Right.
more than anything else. But people wanted to understand how all of those involved in law enforcement and the judicial system do or can work together, and what they can do as citizens to help that.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly right. And they were. The very next day was the no cash bail. And as far as I know, I really haven't heard anything major that's happened since that happened here in our county. And I know the state's attorney down in Clark County, and he said it's been fairly quiet. So we're not a big population in our county here, so maybe we don't have the big issues that Champaign or Vermillion or Sangamon or any of them have. So, but there was questions about that too that day. So as a watch, we can't interject, but we can see what's going on.
So
That's what I
Chrisman
mean.
had a meeting a while back, and Chris Martinez, is that
Chris
right name?
Martinez is a state trooper,
Yeah,
and he's our go-to guy.
and he's
And,
very helpful and he's very approachable,
mhm,
and then we'll have one in Hume,
mhm.
and,
We also have a gal, she's an EMT, Rebecca Lauer, she's a EMT actually for Coles County. And she's our go-to gal over at Kansas. Of course, Doug Cochran is too, so. But, any questions for me?
I've just noticed reading the paper, it seems like these flock cameras are doing some good in just different places you see where they spot, there was some missing children, Effingham or
Only,
something from out,
only,
well, and
Yes, sir.
they found some missing children
mhm,
with that.
yeah.
And you say there was one in Paris, the flock got an arrest in Paris?
It was a boat motor was stolen at the lake.
Okay,
You got a description of the black pickup truck, if I'm
Yeah.
right. And they put it on the flock cameras and we got them. I mean,
good,
I didn't get them,
right,
these guys did.
right,
And that's what it's for.
right, yeah. that's
So-
good.
Yes, sir. And you guys know where they're all placed, correct, here in the county? Do you know where they're at?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I will say it's a great system, great tool for us, and it's gonna keep getting better and better as far as, you know, as we get more familiar with everything that they do. Gonna be a very valuable tool for law enforcement.
great.
Any other questions, Scott? Anybody need more clarification? Augie, can you send something out on the meetings, just as a reminder,
Yep,
several days beforehand?
Yep.
That way, somebody wants to go and has a memory like mine, won't have an excuse to forget.
Jeff, I know where you live. I have to go up that way all the time to get John Longfellow, so I can stop by and remind you.
and I'll always attend all of them
Absolutely.
that I can, so
Yeah.
there is that.
Here's my card for me,
Okay.
yeah, any meetings or anything like that.
I'm gonna
Okay,
call
great.
Shoot
Andy
me an email and
to talk about the,
questions or anything.
Appreciate
this
it.
latest thing
Thank
we
you.
got, see if he wants to stay on.
See you guys, hopefully November
Take
2nd.
care.
Hey Jeff.
Hey, Andy. Thought we'd talk about Smith's Bell and Clock Inc. If you've got time,
Sure. Yep.
and you maybe have some other comments on other issues.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you guys, I was working with a company out of Cincinnati, which was Verdant Clock Company. They wanted around 27 to 30, a little over 30,000 to work on the clock. So I got back in touch with the guy that actually had worked on the clocks. And the only reason I went with Verdant is because they contacted us and he sounded pretty professional. I think they are, except they're expensive. So I got in touch with the guy that had worked on it for years. I actually think it was his father that worked on it more, but he took the company over, and that's that J.J. Smith. And that's the quote he gave us to, basically what he said, he suggested was they take the hands off the clock, they make aluminum hands, and then they put them on, then you don't have to paint them, you don't have to worry about them rotting. He said that's basically what happened to the clock hand that was there that lost the counterweight. Is that over time the wooden hands age and rot and weather, and then they start to fall apart. So that's what he gave us there. He said not to exceed 12,000.
And then optional, the optional lighting.
Yes, that was just an option he gave, and I said, go ahead and include it. And if we decided we want to go with that, okay. If not, he said it's not a big deal. He just thought he'd throw that in. You know, I noticed there is some sort of lighting things sticking out from the bottom. I don't recall, but does anybody recall that? Is that what those are? Are those lights?
Yes, I think only one of them's working right now.
Okay, one of them's working. Okay. You know, I told him that I thought we had some lighting. These are different kinds of lighting that they have now, of course. But I said, you know, we might be interested, probably interested just fixing the lighting that was there originally, and possibly replacing the wooden hands with aluminum hands. But I said I'd bring that to the board and they could make a decision on that. So, and what that would require is when they do the initial fixing of the bell tower, when they fix the tin and things on it, we'd take those hands off, and then it would probably require a resetting of the crane and putting those hands back on at a later date. So that's where we are on that.
Well, how does this decision and the timing work out with the crane that's gonna be up there?
He said he would make that work. He said let him know as soon as possible. He goes, and I will. He said he's like 6 weeks out on most work, but he said if that came to where we needed to have it done, he said let him know as soon as possible, and he would make sure to make that work to go in and take those hands off. He said, he goes, you got to understand, he goes, it can be a process getting those hands off because they've been up there so long. He goes, you know, the screws are rusted. He goes, it can be difficult to get them off. So, but he said he would work with us as long as I let him know as soon as I can when we would be doing that. So I don't know what the time frame is, if anybody's heard of a time frame or anything on fixing the tin on the bell tower yet.
We'd have to get Josh to get a hold of,
It's all gonna come down to insurance at this point, unless you tell them to go ahead without insurance approval.
Okay.
oh, I thought they were gonna have the big one out there anyway.
Yeah, but I think they're still waiting on insurance for part of this, because they're trying to piggyback the two together.
Oh, so we don't have, that's right, we don't have an answer on the
So
insurance.
possibly it might be next spring for the cranes that
I
are even
think,
there.
my understanding is, well, to work out, they wanna have everything done except for putting like the new paneling up, the new windows,
You're
and maybe
breaking
some
up on me,
painting
but
this
go
year.
ahead and say it again.
My understanding is that for the repairs in the roof, they want to have everything done this year if possible, other than putting the new sheet metal up there, the new windows, and if there's any painting, that will be next year. Everything else, they're trying to have it this year unless insurance takes too long. Does your $12,000 include any crane costs at all?
I do not believe, no. That's my understanding that it doesn't.
So you'll
The
go,
27 to 37,000 doesn't include crane costs either.
okay. So you'll have at least one more day of crane costs to put them back on too.
Say that again.
There'll at least be one day of crane costs, I assume, to reinstall them at the end too as well, right? So,
Right, that was one reason I asked you if they could break out what that crane rental was.
I wanna say it was around $6,000 a day, but I don't know if that included mobilization or not. So, if you're renting it for one day, it might be a lot more expensive than renting it for a week.
It could, you know, I remember years ago, I rented a lift, and the company that was doing the work, well, I actually was Greeley, and they had a lift rented, and I thought it was outrageous, and I called McAllister over in Terre Haute or Indiana somewhere, and got the lift for half of what they were gonna rent one for, so, you know, that may be something we wanna shop around on if it comes down to it.
Okay.
So. Anyway, that's where I am on the clock itself.
Thoughts? Any questions, Andy?
Yes.
What's the likelihood that however many, 3 that aren't working are repairable, the lights?
Say that again.
What's the likelihood that the 3 lights that aren't working are repairable versus just a bulb out?
I think they're I feel certain they're repairable.
Okay,
I don't know how long it was before they quit. I don't know, and I would probably assume, I could be incorrect, but I assume that whatever they replace them with now would probably, and I say replace, it will.
You left us, Andy.
Can't they
Andy?
reach out there and change the bulb? I was thinking,
No.
They look
Is
pretty
there
far out there,
access?
but yeah.
yeah, there's,
Because they'd have to be out there pretty far unless there's some way to like tilt them up or something.
I remember something about in the past, janitors going up
Andy?
there and replacing bulbs. And I might be wrong, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I've gotta go I'll call you right back.
I know that there's bulbs in a lot of those windows inside the courthouse had lights as well, but most of those don't work now either. Or I don't know if any of them work now, to be honest. Some of them have broken bulbs and different stuff.
Well, we need to get over to Ray and see if he knows. I'm pretty sure they can be changed, but you
If it
didn't,
is-
you don't get a crane to go up there to
That'd
change the bulb.
be pretty stupid if that's the way they
Right.
designed it.
That's what I think you can reach out there somehow.
well, and if it's LED lights
They
that we
should
put
last-
in there,
they
it
should
should last
last
a lot
longer if
longer. Yeah.
Should.
But
And then, like I said, we're still working on getting it. Should have hopefully something to insurance this week.
well, I could just see if we have to come back this winter or whenever with a crane, it's gonna be more than just a daily fee.
Well, I think they're trying to rent the crane for about, I think they have it in their estimate that they sent that we're reviewing 6 or 7
But they're gonna
days.
have it for several days,
6
so,
or 7 days.
but if you just come for a one-day deal, I'm sure it'll be more.
Yeah, I would assume it'd cost more.
But that's the way you're gonna get it fixed, if you want it fixed.
Because I don't think you can use a lift to get
All right.
there.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I had to.
No, that's fine. No, I don't know if you heard my last part. Is I feel like they could probably, my personal feeling is they could probably put a new bulb or something in their existing lights. It's probably a little more durable than what they put in 15, 20 years ago. So, I'm not the up lighting. I don't know that I'm necessarily interested in paying what they want to put the up lighting in.
Well, I mean, it's well under bid limit, so you guys just wanna tell Andy to go ahead with what he thinks works best? Did you hear that, Andy?
Yep, I'll do that.
And,
I'd like to, he sent this to me, and I guess I probably need to hit him up for maybe if he's got some pictures of what the new lighting would look like. But if the board's interested, I'll certainly at least pursue what that would look like and what it would, pretty much he has the cost there, so.
okay. While you're on the line, and I'm gonna do you have anything else under maintenance, or, I know Ray Cordy's back and doing his thing and he's doing all right. Is there anything under maintenance or buildings and grounds that you need to, address with the board this morning?
I do want to mention, you got the pictures also, Jeff, of the gutters that got plugged up during that rain. I guess, Josh, if you can let Core know that they need to keep track of those roofs above the porticos, just make sure the gutters are clean. We're gonna get, where there's rain in the
Okay.
fall of things, I wanna make sure that they don't plug up like they did.
Okay.
And that they'll kind of watch, make sure they don't drop big stuff down. We got a lot of money on those roofs. I don't want a big piece of something dropping down and cutting through the material that's on there. They may need to cover it in some manner or something.
Okay, I will talk to him, that's no problem.
Okay,
The answer is yes, Andy.
okay, good. All
What,
right.
what else?
I think that's about all I've got right now.
I think it's fair to say we talked about insurance, and the response we're getting from the insurance company has been, let's just say, very adequate and more than fair. Would you not agree?
Today,
Yes.
Okay, so,
I've so far been real pleased with what they've done.
okay. Let's see here. I did, Andy, pass out the budget, the regular budget for Fund 100 and the levy. So we'll make sure that we get you those so you have them. We're gonna, I don't know how much we're gonna discuss it this morning. People just got it, so I'd rather have everybody take a close look at it over the next week or so, or even if you have questions tomorrow that I can start answering. Our time is abbreviated. Remember, it has to be passed, what's the date? 4th?
First or second.
November 2nd is our first time to lay it over for inspection by the public. So that's what we're dealing with. Also, we have a new updated bond issue payment schedule. Rates are still climbing a little bit. We're getting a comparison on what the USDA would mean to us, but we probably will hold off any decision given all the turmoil in the world this week, and maybe set up a special meeting on Monday next week, Andy.
Okay, all right, I wondered how this would affect things, what's going on.
Yes, hang on one second. Augie?
Andy, did you get the 2 things I emailed you this morning?
Say that again?
Did you get the 2 things Augie emailed to you this morning?
I haven't yet, no,
Okay.
but I'll look.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the bond issue payment schedule, the updated one. And then you should have got a ratings direct, which we wound up with an A. And with insurance, it's a AA. So that's what our rating is. It also describes us as, what is it? Something stable. Anyway, we're considered stable. By the way, the same rating is carried by Paris, DeKalb. We're about 8 ratings higher than the state of Illinois.
Okay.
So, Augie will double check.
Zimbabwe was as stable as Illinois. Or maybe Zimbabwe was a little ahead of Illinois.
Well, anyway, we'll check with Augie to make sure that you get everything you need, and I'll have make sure that the budget and the levy gets sent to you also, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Is there anything else you guys think of that we need to discuss with Andy so he can get back to playing with the kids?
We're on a wild safari tour right now.
Oh, really? Well, say hi to the hippos for me.
We got the giraffes in front of us right now.
All right. Well, that's a different place to be when you're having a board meeting. So, hey, you take care. All right?
Thanks. If you need anything Wednesday, call me.
We will. Thanks, Andy.
Okay. Thanks.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. Dan, do you feel like giving a report?
I stopped yesterday to the shelter, talked to Andrew. Everything's going real well. See, hired a part-time person, and then the lady from St. Mary's is still working part-time. She's doing a lot of the computer work for Andrew. I think they got adopted out all the Huskies. And I think she's down to 25 animals in the shelter, so. So
She went
she's,
through a tough time, didn't she?
everything's running well, so. No problems.
And I've talked to her, her budget looks good, and
Good.
we adjusted some of the payroll to accommodate the dedication and what they're doing,
Yeah,
which
she has
you'll
a lot-
notice in the budget.
A lot of donations, a lot of help from the community, which really made a difference out there, so, which is good.
And that speaks well of her, that people are willing to help her
Right,
and
right.
her animals.
Good.
Okay? Russ? No? I did think of something else looking at you, you're a member of the building committee. Don't forget this coming Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, and any member of the board is welcome to be here, but the building committee is gonna hear from Michael in an update on the jail, and the second and third phases are done, so we'll have a lot to look at.
I'm gonna have to phone in because I won't be able to be here.
Okay. Sorry. All right.
It's a longer meeting, so if it makes a difference.
What's that?
Be a longer meeting, because they're gonna go through a lot of that stuff, so.
Yeah.
Does,
Get an update when I get back then.
Okay.
does the sheriff have all
I
this?
gave a copy to Matt,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Carl? Lisa?
I have a question. This is more towards Augie. So I went to Vermillion County, Indiana, Commissioners meeting a couple weeks ago. That's the three-man board that's kind of the equivalent of us, part of us. And the conversation, during public comment, the conversation came up on this woman has been trying to get a copy of her husband's autopsy for 5 years. The coroner, I don't remember if he retired or died, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so they suggested, the new auditor there, who's on the ball, said that she received his boxes of files and they're in the basement of the courthouse. How are autopsy coroner reports handled in Edgar County?
Coroner handles those.
Okay, so,
If it's a death certificate, that would be a coroner, he would sign off on that, and we would have that.
He would record that.
you would record that.
It's all done as long as they died in Edgar County. Some people make the assumption that since they lived in another county, even though they died in Edgar County, and I got it backwards.
Yeah.
I got it backwards. That you live in Edgar County, you die over another county, they think they can come in here and get the death certificate, but it doesn't work that way. But as far as coroner records in the courthouse in the basement, I have no idea about that.
So if somebody in Edgar County,
So you're saying from that meeting, they said it's happening?
no, in their own county, but it
Oh.
just led me to
I'm
ask.
sorry, I thought
it
you
just
said there
led-
was an
I'm sorry.
courthouse.
It's in the the basement of their courthouse.
Not
It
ours.
just led
Okay.
me, sorry, it just led me to wonder, like, what do we do over here?
It's
So,
Well, it comes through Illinois Department of Public Health. It's all electronic. A doctor signs off on it, or the coroner signs off on it, and then it's electronically filed.
We would not get the autopsy result here.
No, we would not
You'd
get
have
the
to go through the
autopsy.
doctor or the
Thank you, Dan.
hospital
No,
or, yeah, wherever it's done.
no.
okay. Well,
Wouldn't
this
be able
was
to get it.
specifically autopsy, not death certificate.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that you-
Okay,
they would not have it.
all right.
You'd have to go through the doctor or whoever did the autopsy.
Well,
It's probably
no,
not-
the coroner would have the results of it.
Probably would not be
Yeah.
released anyway. I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works.
I know, well, it kind of caused an issue with her life, getting his life insurance, which I thought was interesting. Also, the other thing was they were talking about a countywide text program. It was gonna cost $5,200 startup. And it would be used on a wider level than what ESDA's is.
We just expanded ours totally.
Okay,
I mean, it's about a year ago, it went a much more flexible system and almost unlimited how many people could be on it.
Okay. I think their vision was using theirs in a wider way, but it just led me to that whole thought. And I'm not suggesting we need to change, it was just food for thought. Yeah, we talked about Neighborhood Watch coming up. Open Meetings Act training, am I correct that if you've done it once, you're good, or this came up at the HRC board, 708 board? Okay. Wanda Winans' retirement party is coming up, just a reminder,
What date is that?
October 13th, which is Friday, 1 to 3:30. See, you probably don't really want to know that I'm real excited about going to the Mary Chapin Carpenter concert.
Jeez, I haven't even heard that name.
She's on my bucket list. She's an old rebel singer. Do we need to have another meeting with Jessica for any reason? We still need to have a department head meeting.
Yes,
Okay, so we should probably, okay.
that's your availability.
Yeah. Okay, I'll contact Jessica.
When you set that up, let me know.
Okay. I believe that's it. Oh, other than, I get those of us who live on the north part of the county, do you get the Independent News? A few weeks ago, there was the article right before the end of cash bail, so there was an article on the front page, and it says the state has appropriated $10 million for public defenders to help implement the Pretrial Fairness Act, with the state's 101 counties outside of Cook each receiving between $77,000 and $147,555. We haven't talked about that, have we?
Yeah, we got in budget, I think I mentioned it a while back, we thought we were gonna get 52, we got 102,000 this round. And it's gonna be every year, maybe not that amount, but
To go towards
public, offsetting public defender.
costs.
Remember, and yeah, because remember we said, well, we expanded stuff,
Right,
so now we've got something to help us since we'll no longer be taking it out of the rescue funds.
Wonderful. And way back when I attended a meeting on wind and, I think it's all wind and solar ordinances that was put on by the County Board Association. They were handing out, I wish I picked up more than one copy so that we could have had this in the public libraries. But anyway, this is really enjoyable, and it's just a page or two of history on all the courthouses in Edgar County, or in
I
Illinois.
think we have one of those.
Do you have one?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the hospital.
So if you want it, let's pass it around, and then we need to decide what to do with it. I thought maybe donating it to the Historical Society. So we need to make sure that Andy gets it, because he'll especially enjoy it. And that's all.
Okay.
did, talking about Jess, did have, I guess there'd been a conversation from the sheriff's meeting the other day, you know, Jess, about all the issues that the sheriff's department evidently is still having.
I was with her this morning, but we were dealing with another issue, so
Okay.
no, I have not talked to her about it.
Okay, all right.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, I did ask her about it. And we need to talk about that in negotiation. We need to do a closed session on that. That'll be eligible for that.
Okay, all right.
Like I said, oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
One other question, on the appointing the jury commissioner, Amy Blystone, is that somebody who was recommended by the, judges?
Yeah, she, by the way, she was the state's attorney's legal secretary. Now she's over in the judge's office.
Oh,
Amy is?
She's no longer in the state's attorney's office.
When
They're
did that
like,
take place?
Marty retired.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yep.
And then, that took place, what, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, her resignation.
Yep,
Yeah.
I
so
heard that.
Amy would be, let's just put it this way, Amy, I couldn't think of a better person to put in there. But it's not up to me, and I totally agree with the judge's appointment of her. It's a loss for the state's attorney's office.
Right, yeah.
Very much so.
So have they hired someone yet?
Yeah, they're
Working
trying.
on that.
Will that person be a paralegal, or is that a requirement for that?
I can't
I'm
tell
not sure.
you.
That good for Amy, that's a loss out of the state's attorney's office.
Yeah. You got this page? This is the levy. We didn't include all the other pages that just basically say the same thing. When it's ultimately passed, it'll have the other, 12, 14 pages behind it for each department. I don't know whether, Augie, did you find out if we need to have or you probably haven't had a chance to look at that. As you might notice there, the second paragraph from the bottom, it's got the Area 1 ambulance service, and currently there's no money allotted for that. We're gonna be entering into a new contract. It'll start, May 1st or June 1st. So we have put in there at least some amount for that contract, and that can be abated. We're gonna try to look at whether it can be partially abated, and I don't think we have an answer to that question yet either, do we?
Well, I didn't know I was supposed to look for that.
Oh, we talked about it. In other words, can we, if it's
I get it.
$500,000 and they only want 250, can we abate part of the levy? Sorry.
I don't think
Augie.
so.
I thought maybe I
And I-
just dreamed we talked about
Well, we talked about it a little bit, and you said that by next spring,
Yeah,
possibly,
we'd have to,
but there's a deadline when we can abate it by.
but we didn't know whether we could do a partial
Yeah.
abatement.
Yeah. You're gonna look into that, I'll-
I am.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, you'll notice that if we may have to have a truth in taxation hearing on that particular issue, which would mean prior to a meeting, 15 minutes before, we'd have a hearing to see if we got any comments on that. But everything else is within the 5%. So we're okay on everything else. I'd really like you to take a close look at the levies. The general tax levy, we can go up to 27 cents. And my guess is in the future, we're gonna have to do that to meet some of our needs for salaries and so forth. So
Off the top of your head, do you know what percentage
that's
increase?
almost 4.5% right there. Yeah, well, it's 4.5, it's 4.8% for the whole, for that total of 4173, but the actual general tax on Fund 100 is a little over 4.5%, okay? 4.7, 4.6, I'm not sure. But if we levied a full 27 cents, it'd almost be $1,175,000. Okay? So I pray that you'll look at that closely. If you have any questions, please let me know. As far as the actual budget, we're just gonna have to go through department by department and show what's been spent so far this year, what was budgeted for this year, and what the last column, which is proposed, 23-24, shows a negative. That's actually a budget figure, and that's a positive, but that's how they read. Okay?
What's CATV tax again?
That's a highway
That's
tax.
that other highway, okay.
Two bridges.
That's, yeah, bridges and. So you'll notice at this point, the general fund budget is good. We're expending $42,741 less than the revenue. So we have a balance, positive balance of 42.7. However, I'm sure some of that will disappear over the next few weeks as we work through some of the issues that we have to work through. Okay? Like when we had Andy on the phone, we talked a little bit about this updated payment schedule for bonds. And you'll notice that it's stayed on the third to the last column. It shows you what the aggregate commitment by year would be for the county. And it's roughly 1.1 through a majority of the time. The very last column would show you what the difference is between the commitment of the 1.1 and what we're taking as safety tax money. I will let you know that, and I hope this isn't confusing, but it's based on revenue of column 2, which is stagnant. We're projecting 1.54 this year, at the end of this year, and a growth every year from there on. For example, they're saying on line 2 of the last column, it says 606. Let's go down one. 341.72. You could add a roughly 95,000 to that because we already know that much more we're going to be taking in. So, plus whatever growth there is by the time we get to that third year, if that makes sense. Right now, we're trying to determine, we know the rate of the USDA bond or loan would be at, although significantly lower they had in other costs, is 3.875.
Until the end of December.
Till the end of December, then it will go up again. And, but the payment, and I'm getting the payment schedule on that, would be very similar to the bonds. So, because of the way they figure it and what they do, but I don't have that yet, so that's one of the reasons why, if I get it between now and tomorrow, I'll make sure you get it so we can make some real comparisons on what we should do. Okay? And with, quite frankly, you wouldn't think things around the world, but with the war in Israel, the underwriters say that really won't have much of an effect either way. However, the Speaker of the House paying bills of the government, the thing they gotta pass in November, the continuing resolution, or continuing budget stuff, may have some direct impact on rates. So, that's why we kinda wanted to wait till Monday to see where everything was headed. Questions? Thoughts? And that way on Monday, we'd be back to all 7 of us being here, hopefully. I think. Is Monday,
Next Monday?
next Monday? No?
Yeah, our next
will-
meeting is our study session is next Monday, the 16th. Next Monday.
It's the following Monday.
For
Yes.
some reason, I have
23rd.
on my calendar for the 16th. Right.
I don't think we can wait that long.
You have one on the 23rd, right?
Yeah, but I was gonna have a special
Oh, on
meeting,
the 16th?
yeah. No go, I won't be
On
there.
the 16th,
You can't either?
no, I gotta take my wife to the doctor.
Friday? This Friday?
This Friday? I'm going from Thursday to probably next Wednesday.
Well, then we may, it's on the agenda for tomorrow, we may go ahead and try to make sure Andy's available by phone and at least get some directions so that we can act if we need to. Is that okay? Carl, are you all right with that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we'll just plan on, you know, making a rough decision on Wednesday, tomorrow. And I'll make sure Andy is available and we'll go from there. Now, if things fall totally apart, even though we say go ahead, if we come up with bids later, you know, quotes later on that are, we just can't do, we don't do it. Does that make
So
sense?
we can still back out at
Yes.
some point in time.
We may piss off a lot of people, but at least those people won't be Edgar County residents. Okay? Well,
Right. Yeah.
all right, we'll plan on doing that. As well, she should be here. All right. Sorry. Lot of information here, guys. We can have whatever meetings you wanna have or study sessions to work on the budget if you need to. There's some, the budget is down from last year. We're doing a lot less, you know, capital development, so. And it obviously is switching to the jail project. Can we go into, anything else come before me? Yes?
This bellwether, is this anything different?
Well, that's, yeah, we need to talk about contracts too, in closed session, but,
Is
yeah.
that part of this?
Well, that can be, but we can discuss it in open. I mean, they wanna continue to be retained on a monthly basis.
Basically, it's just
It's the same.
renewing
Right,
what we're currently,
correct.
okay,
But we can discuss that briefly in closed
okay,
session
all right,
to see if anybody has any complaints about them.
okay. Then the holidays,
Yeah, the holidays is something we need to talk about.
yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna resolve that with, inside of the budget, or the labor negotiations.
You just reject the revised calendar, or not accept the revised calendar.
So, I guess we've already approved the original order, I didn't realize that.
Yes,
Yes, you
It
approved.
says
you did.
approved by the county board in July,
yes,
and then last month we had this amended order.
right. Go ahead, Augie.
Yeah, no,
explain.
I'm just trying to, I don't have that in front of me.
Well,
But yeah, that's the one that we did in July.
Didn't even remember that.
Yeah, there was,
With 13 holidays,
it was a non-event, we just approved it,
right,
and that's how I marked it instead of retyping it. Then this one came along,
with 14 holidays.
where the state has added election day, but Judge Sullivan has stated that this Edgar County court system will remain open. Is
And
that,
that's just that'd be the circuit clerk, the judges, and,
court system? And of course, the county clerk will be open on election day.
but there's nothing saying we have to approve this amended order.
it just covers the court system.
Yeah, it's only the court system that it really, I mean, our court system will be open. And we approved a holiday calendar back in July. So, now what we've done before, well, it's further reaching than that. It was just to file the order, to put it on file. That's all the intent was, but it's not intended to get who gets more and who gets less.
Well, my question is somebody in the circuit clerk's office, they work that day, do they also get paid a holiday?
I have no
And
idea about that.
do our folks get paid a holiday? If what happens?
You work a holiday, so you get paid double time.
Well, that's not even the issue, at this point, whether it's double or single time. When you get paid for a holiday and work, you get paid for what you work, and then you get paid for the holiday. So you get, yes.
Yeah.
So it really muddies the water. We approved 13 holidays, which didn't include election day. So we can stick with that.
I stick with it.
With that. You say stick with it? Lisa?
I have no opinion.
Daniel?
No, I think so, I agree. I mean, you got time to vote, you might take a whole day off.
But by us filing this amended order, I mean, we're not, I don't know whether that makes things confusing as far as who gets what. If we file it, we're not approving, well, yeah, we are approving.
Well, we didn't vote on what the judge set out. We didn't simply.
No, so we're just gonna file it and leave it at that.
Well, if that's what the board decides. I take it you have filed it and received it at our county clerk's office and stamped it as received, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've received it.
That doesn't, it's just an order by the judge, that's it.
If you're not sure, you probably better talk to your state's attorney, or maybe ask Judge Sullivan to help clarify it. Like that time we went up and Judge Garth helped us work out.
Would it matter on how you accepted it? Didn't you accept the original, that you accepted the Supreme Court
Yeah.
calendar for your holidays on originally?
Yeah, so
So-
we subtract, the Supreme Court's didn't change.
I thought the Supreme Court calendar did change, they added a day to the Supreme Court calendar.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
That's what, I think that's your
Yeah.
problem.
That's
Oh,
the
You
problem.
accepted the original, you said your holidays are what the Supreme Court set, now the Supreme Court's added a day.
Right.
I'm assuming you could pass something saying you're not accepting, that you're not adopting the revised calendar, maybe, if you wanted to word it that way. You're,
Yeah, to me, they can order whatever they want, but we're not gonna accept it. We're accepting the 13 holidays, that's all my point is. You know, it's ridiculous. The government gets so many holidays and the average person, they don't get, you know, that's a big deal with me.
depends on what industry you're in. Depends on which industry you're in, banking and stuff's usually closed on all the same holidays, but.
Or if you work for the state of Illinois,
State, yeah.
it's even worse than,
Depends on which industry. Yes, the average person probably does not get as many holidays.
Well, I know they don't.
well, if I get a chance, I'll talk to the judge. Okay? Or the state's attorney if I can find one.
We still got another month to November.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to do it,
Couple
Yeah.
weeks.
yeah. What, do we wanna go into closed session today, or would you rather do it tomorrow morning? It's up to you.
Probably we'll do one we have everybody here, we make more sense.
Well, we're gonna have, Phil will be here tomorrow morning. Andy will not be here till Friday, so, okay. Let's do a closed session on personnel, negotiations, and contracts. Okay? Somebody wanna make that motion? Russ moves. Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We're in closed session.
We had a court case to go.
See before you-
Okay, we're ready.
Any other items to come before the study session?
Probably can't bring it up, but lawsuit with,
That should have been brought up a couple minutes ago. Nothing new.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Any public comment? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Russ moves, Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We're adjourned.